Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I'm reviewing Frederick Marriott's Children of the New Forest. This is my second time reading this classic from Captain Frederick Marriott, and the second time is just as good as the first time. Before I dive into all the reasons why I love this book, I'm gonna reach back here to our BookTuber shout-out book, and we're gonna shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Life Between Words. I'll leave a link to their channel down in the description, so be sure to go over and subscribe to them. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you love classic literature as much as I do. Children of the New Forest follows the 4 Beverly children during the English Civil War. They are orphaned when their father is killed fighting for the restoration of King Charles. Their grand home is burnt down and they are supposed to be dead. So they find shelter with a kindly old forester. They each learn to hunt and harvest and care for the chickens and the cows. They live in a little cottage deep in the seclusion of the forest. But the oldest boy, Edward, is very restless and longs to go to war as his father did. The siblings encounter many dangers, highwaymen and robbers and spies from the Parliament, and there is a new intendant governor over the forest, who is determined to capture anyone poaching the deer in the forest. But the siblings are resourceful and brave, and so they flourish in their humble cottage. They acquire new farm animals and they plant small fields, always dreaming of a time when their inheritance will be restored to them, if ever the true king returns to England. I just love this story about the Beverly siblings. There are 2 brothers and 2 little sisters. The plot is really interesting. It's full of action and intrigue. This is often marketed as a children's book, and I guess you could sort of call it classic children's literature. The main character, the oldest sibling, Edward, is, I think, 14 when the book begins, but by the time the book is over, he's like 27. So although it is titled Children of the New Forest, Edward, even as he's a teenager, he's dealing with very adult problems, and there's all these political machinations, and he goes off to war and everything. It's really a very small section of the book where they are actually children. And even as children, they're orphans. So they have to deal with adult problems like, where are we gonna get our next meal from? I don't know, just the subject material is not at all childish. So I've never quite understood why this is considered children's literature, just because the characters are young at the beginning of the book. I mean, David Copperfield isn't considered children's literature just because David is young at the beginning of David Copperfield. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent, never mind. One of the things I really love about this book are some of the very simple aspects in the story, where the children are learning to do household tasks like cooking and sewing. The boys are learning to hunt, and the girls keep a dairy. Just all these little details of how they ordered their life in the forest. I really love all those little things. And then on top of it, you have all the political wars, and there are spies and robbers. So there are a lot of dangerous situations and mysteries. But even with as much action and energy as there is in the plot, the thing I really love the most is just the siblings at home in their little cottage, sewing a button onto somebody's jacket or something. Even those little simple things just take on such a meaning in the story. Captain Frederick Marriott, the author, was a contemporary of Jane Austen's, and I really love his writing style. It's the kind of formal prose that you would expect from this era, and I love the vivid language in this book. The personalities of each of the Beverly siblings are just so interesting, so complex. Although I do wish that the girls, the little sisters, had a little more time in the narrative. They almost feel like sort of background characters. They don't take part in the action as much as the boys do. I really like the girls, and I feel like there's a lot of potential in their characters. I just wish that we got a little more in-depth writing about them. I was really touched by the siblings' deep emotional attachment to one another and to the old forester who takes them in. Time and again, these characters are shown to have a noble feeling and a lot of generosity toward their friends. I love how the siblings all work and sacrifice a great deal in order to care for and protect each other. Their first thought in any difficult situation is, how can I take care of my siblings? I also really loved the historical aspects of this story. The characters just make the history seem even more immediate and more intimate to the reader. I just love this book so much. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know, what is one of your favorite classic children's literature books that you feel like, would that really be classified as children's literature? Or I don't know. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.